borrowed this one from a friend, so I was visiting for a bit. Finally glad to, well, be finally reviewing one of these. Hornby's redone Class 91. Class 91, 225. This one here, Intercity Class 91, Bobo, Durham Cathedral. Sorry, that was the camera just sort of moving a bit. It's okay. Again, it's getting on a bit, this camera now, but it's still overall still working okay. Anyway, where were we? Durham Cathedral, number 91002 in Intercity Swallow livery. Looks fantastic now. And I have the usual information on the back here about the 91s. Again, I'd read all of it, but we'd be here for a long time, won't we? It says about there, not sure if the camera will pick it up. It says as the LNER's new Class 800 Azuma fleet have entered traffic, they have they have directly replaced the Class 91 sets, leading to the entire withdrawal of the fleet during 2020. Well, most of them have been withdrawn. Most of them have. Most of them have gone now. But there are still some 225 sets still running on the East Coast. How many's left? Is there about 5 or 6? Yeah, there's not many. Put it down in the comments if you know. So they haven't all been withdrawn, but most of them have. A lot of the 91 locos were stored by the freight terminal at Doncaster for a while, but I think they've been moved, and some of them have now sadly been scrapped, which is very sad indeed. That is sad. I mean, like with the HSTs, it's really sad now to see these go. I mean, it's not that long since the HSTs went. It's only about 3-4 years. It's not that long if you think about it. Oh, and speaking of the 225 still running on the East Coast main line, they've now all been, I'm sure the remaining sets have now been repainted into this Intercity Swallow livery. I haven't actually seen one properly yet. I hope to soon. I really hope to get a good look at one in this livery. Well, they still say they obviously still have LNER on the side. Well, apart from is it 91119 is a number with the Bounds green nameplate on. That one, of course, she still has her Intercity lettering and the bird logo there on the side. So she looks even better with the Mark IVs in the Swallow livery. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, even with LNER on as well, it's that's Intercity, isn't it? But even with LNER on as well, still looks just as good. Still looks fantastic. I'm really glad that they've painted the remaining 225 sets in this livery. Although it's a shame that they don't run all the way up to Edinburgh anymore. They run as far north as York now. They either do King's Cross to Leeds or King's Cross to York services. But that's still a good a run for them. It's about halfway up the East Coast main line. So let's get her open then. And a pic of the roof on top of there. But let's get a look at the real thing. Yep, in the block of ice packaging. Usual instructions all in there. Again, I'll try not to block the light too much. Okay. And of course, yes, your usual etched nameplates on there with a few little tiny, very fiddly looking accessory parts. Well, and again, most of them come with those these days, don't they? Leaving you not that much clue how to put them on. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah, again, you've got to watch it with these plastic case or block of ice packaging. They can be quite twangy when they only have a certain amount of give in them. Well, I prefer it doing that than twanging back. Got a couple of couplers here as well. Yeah, she's not got any couplers on at the moment. Well, I'll just be running a light engine. Sorry for the other cut there. I don't know if you could just hear the phone ringing downstairs just before the last clip cut off. I know, it's like things always wait. I mean, I just had a plane fly over So I remind you of in IC82's a few of his reviews. Sometimes he's had to cut because of the noise of a aircraft flying over. I know it's like noises and that. It's like they always wait until you. Oh, I can hear another one as well. It always waits until you start filming, doesn't it? Just typical. But anyway, here we are. So. Quite a few detail differences on these new 91s. I mean, my class 91, my GNER one, well, when you compare them both together, and you compare the two together, there is quite a difference now. Well, mind you, this is how the this is basically a model of a class 91 in its more original form. How they sort of looked when they first came out and first entered service. For example, you see, I mean, yeah, we've got separately fitted. Just wait to focus on there, and you can just see into the cab there as well. We have separately, well, what definitely look like separately fitted windscreen wipers. They're pointing that way. They're pointing to the right of the screen there, well, to the driver's left. The 91s now, they're vertical. They're pointing up the way. They were like this they were pointing that way, like car or truck windscreen wipers in their early days. So if I just take my GNER 91 again, there's certainly a weight difference. This one, the new one, is a lot heavier. I mean, mine. This is, yeah, of course you've seen it before. And this model I got in 2004. You know, so quite a year difference, and with the detail. Not, well, I wouldn't say a mass lot of difference in detail at the rear, but mainly thing is with the new model is that we now have we now have working lights. The lights now work, and again, that's how basically you see like older style lights. So, well, again, they haven't changed massively, but the lights are sort of like original older style there. Similar with the HSTs, I mean the HSTs in their early days, or for a while, had the full exposed sort of like open lights, whereas soon they sort of like put cover things on with circle holes, so then they had more modern looking lights. But yeah, it's this is very smart indeed. Just love that Intercity swallow on there, and let's get a good clear shot of the name and the sort of the shield in there. Yep, yeah. Durham Cathedral. I mean the pantograph on the original one, on the old I think the new one's all metal, or I don't know. It feels more like plastic in some. I don't know. I mean, sorry, I was just sort of feeling the pantograph of the new one there, but yeah, the pantograph of the old one there, a lot more sort of metal and sort of well more like brass looking there, as you can see. And on the new one, it feels more delicate actually on the new one. Yeah, if you get one of these, just be careful with that pantograph. It does feel a little more flimsy, to be honest. Again, definitely more detail on the top, and obviously the old model had the sort of power sort of selection switch on the roof right there. Again, quite a prominent looking switch on the roof. Whereas I think is that I don't know, is that the switch for it to run on like power for the wheels, or if you've got actual cables set up? Well, that's what it was like on the old one, so it must be the same here as well, I think. But yeah, put it in the comments if you know. And actually, I've just looked on the instructions. I got that wrong with that button. That button is to control the lights. Sorry, I just nudged the camera there. You've either got daylight mode, just that of course, like in real life, they always run with some lights on. Well, almost like some cars do. For example, my car has LEDs. Well, daytime running lights. Most cars do now, don't they? But you can either have day light mode or night light mode, which is pretty clever. So I don't think so. It looks like with these new ones that the pantograph can't actually be used to source power anymore. I don't know. Just watch it with that pantograph. It is pretty flimsy. It's I mean it's quite. Don't know. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. And again, much more. The detail. The bogies on the Class 91s are quite fairly basic anyway, but still more better detail now. It is really smart, and obviously yes, lights at the other end as well, and we've got sprung buffers. I forgot to point that out earlier. We've got sprung buffers on both ends. Very smart indeed. Really nice, and again the other nameplate there, Durham Cathedral. So again, there's no couplings on at the moment, but you can easily fit them on. Right, well let's get her onto the layout and see her run. Here we are. Now, obviously with being light, I've got the light selected on day, the day running lights. You should just see them come on. Again, they're hard to pick out, but yeah, they're flickering slightly on camera. But yeah, you can just pick them out. A bit clearer under here. And the red tail lights there, of course, in the other end. Well, the other cab end. She's running really well. Shortly, I'll dim the lights in the room. Well, I'll pull the blind down and switch the lights to night mode. I mean, I know you're probably thinking, I know it would be even better if she had some coaches, coaches on a DBT, like a full set, to haul. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Well, hopefully one day I'll be able to film her, hauling a full Mark IV and DBT set. And again, I forgot to mention that earlier. As well as the 91s themselves, Hornby have also redone their Mark IVs and DBTs as well. Well, probably most of you probably already know anyway. I mean, and you can now get the specific Mark IV to couple behind the Class 91, the one which doesn't have a doorway at this end. Again, specifically designed to be coupled behind the 91 Loco, which is a nice new feature. And well, again, as I said before. Over the past 20 odd years, since my early days of collecting model railways, their prices certainly have gone up. I mean, and that's one reason why I often don't really buy as much as I used to. Is mainly just cost reasons, cost wise, Obviously, that's can't always really be helped, can it? Let's just see it go in the other way. But literally, barely anything model rail-wise comes cheap these days, does it? Yeah, with the main lights at that end now. And red tails there. Sorry, went out of focus a bit there. It's gonna happen. Again, going backwards as if coupling the 91 Loco onto the Mark IV set. oops, we have a derailment. I wonder how that's happened. There we go. Yeah, I mean, even though they're four-wheel bogies, they're more fiddly than you think to actually, well, get all the four wheels on each bogie on the rails. Very strange. Anyway, flick the switch from day to night. The light. Here she is now running with the lights on night mode. I know you can't see her as well, but it shows how the lights are working well. Like back in the early 90s. A-Class 91. Doing we're doing a dusk, night or dawn, late service. Well, in this case, just running light engine. But when it's just getting dark. Quite good low speed running as well. And there we have the review of Hornby's recently redone Class 91-225. Again, very smart indeed. It's definitely been a pleasure to review this. The thing is, I often wondered for a while over the past couple of years, would I ever be reviewing a redone version of their 91? Because when I said recently redone, it is still pretty recent since they redid these. Only within the past maybe year and a half. Well, I think less than 2 years since these actually officially came out. Well, I remember first seeing like pics or sneak peek pics of these before they came out, and I'm sure that was definitely less than 3 years ago. I think. Well, within the past maybe 3 to 4 years, so not that long ago. I mean, the Hornby Class 91s. Obviously, they stayed in their original form. Well, how they originally were, without working lights and that, for years. I mean, again, I got mine in 2004. I mean, overall, not absolutely nothing wrong with that particular one. No, great runner and still really, really smart. But again, let's say, when Hornby brought out the Virgin, was it the Virgin or LNER livered one, or the Virgin one in the livery, which then became LNER, it was still exactly the same model, exactly the same tooling as the as mine from again as the GNER one from like 20 odd years ago, and even that one, if you compare that one to the original Hornby Intercity 225, the original Hornby Railways Intercity 225 train set, which came out like back in the 80s and that. Obviously, there's a big difference now between that particular 91, which Hornby first brought out, on this one now. Obviously, is that there's quite a difference between this one and on my junior one, or again the one the Virgin one, which came out less than like 10 years ago. But yeah, if you compared the previous one to the original Hornby Railways one, there's not that much difference really. There wasn't that much difference between the two. But again, they've now finally been redesigned. We finally have working lights, more some fantastic named ones here. Again, for example, 91002 Durham Cathedral. Again, looking fantastic here. I hope you've enjoyed the review, and hopefully one day, at some point, you will see her. Well, not just running light engine, but hauling a Mark IV set with the DVT. Fingers crossed.